For all intents and purposes, I think we can all agree that the United Kingdom is screwed. The Orwellian state was a warning given time and time again to the people of Britain and of course Europe and the West, and yet we find ourselves standing on the welcome mat into this tyrannical house of control. Now, the famous petition against digital ID cards has reached a whopping 2.8 million signatures. And if you know anything about these government petitions, if a petition gets more than 100,000 signatures, it has to be considered for debate in the House of Parliament. And it has, of course, exceeded it quite a bit. Yet the United Kingdom government has replied with quite possibly the biggest excuse you can think of, that we are going to be introducing digital ID to help tackle illegal migration, which we know is quite ironic because a lot of the people who campaigned for this particular party campaigned on the ticket of open borders, and that so-called refugees, which we know are just economic migrants, are welcome. Now, the government does drivel quite a bit on the reply to this petition, but what is it that we are dealing with here? So let's see some details. First of all, I think this one is something that everybody knows: travel and mobility. It will be monitored, it will be controlled. I think we all know that for the last couple of decades, the World Economic Forum and all its minions, including politicians in the United Kingdom, have been hard at work playing the drum of climate change and for using that as a means to introduce policies that control people. Imagine this: you cannot book a travel because you have exceeded your carbon footprint credits. Food and sustainability, a control over the supply of the food chain beyond just health standard checks. Who is all this going to go to? Well, we know who it is. Bill Gates and the likes, who have been buying farmland over and over, and at the same time campaigning to shut down a lot of farms due to quote unquote climate change issues. Then we have so-called smart cities. I don't know if you guys ever played, I believe the name of the game is Watch Dogs. That's what we're going for right now. It's interesting how the idea of convenience has so persuaded many a people to essentially give up their individual liberty, to feel so passively about their individual freedom and their worth. E-government, access to and use of services, including filing taxes, voting, and collection benefits. Don't you worry, folks, we just have this centralized ID for all your government paperwork needs. Oh, by the way, you cannot vote for this party because they do not meet the standards of humanism presented by the globalist masters. Access to social platforms. You require ID to access third-party services, and of course, all your online activity will be monitored, and your communications. Big Brother is watching everything you do and anything you say. You ever notice how sometimes when you're talking about a subject or a product, while your phone is switched on and your smart TV is on, suddenly you open up YouTube and you start getting bombarded by suggestions in relation to that talk? Well, now they have a legal precedent for zero privacy. And don't you dare start saying something that doesn't fit the agenda. Cannot be so-called Islamophobic in your private quarters. Healthcare. I'm sorry, you have run out of your social credits. We cannot allow you to use the health services. You are a dangerous individual. Whatever happened to duty of care? Whatever happened to the oath that the medical professions usually take, or at least they are supposed to? The Hippocratic Oath. You know, this is why I think some of these institutions need to go back into the hands of the Christians. Fact of the matter is, the whole medical thing, the modern medical thing, essentially these hospitals that started in Rome by Christians, they had this personal faith-based belief about caring and healing the sick and the poor. It is important. I remember somebody once said that there is something comforting about knowing that even the tyrant has to bow before a higher power. Of course, if we remove that higher power, then the tyrant will do whatever, as the tyrant thinks of himself as God. E-commerce. How far do we think we are from the whole government seizes the means of production, eh? Ultimate control over your private business. Bank accounts, control over your savings account. Even recently, they've been trying to clamp down on people's savings account. I believe they're called ISA accounts. Monitor it for tax fraud. And of course, as we know, we have a couple of brainwashed generations who are repeating the same old rhetoric. Tax the rich. Tax the rich. We know who's really going to get screwed. It's going to be the little guy. Not the big globalist businesses who are in cahoots with the World Economic Forum. Humanitarian response. To access services to demonstrate qualifications to work in a foreign country. So if you want to travel out of the country and just work elsewhere, because you're sick and tired of the work environment in the United Kingdom, which many of the citizens are, by the way, they have control over the means of your earning outside. They can choose who they want to send. All of this is being advertised as some kind of convenience. But time and time again, we have been told that these things are highly dangerous.
If you have digitally verified ID, then you run into the problems of digitally verified ID, and they're running down that road in China now. So in China, for example, God, this is going to happen here, I think, too. Although maybe people will fight it. If a traffic camera catches you jaywalking in China, okay, so the digital ID system has you. It has your blood now. It has your genetic code. It has your photograph. It can identify how you walk. So even if you can't see a face, you can be picked up by gait. It will convict you of jaywalking and take money out of your bank account with no intermediating judiciary at all, and show a picture of you to the people in the neighborhood so they know that you have jaywalked, and reduce your social credit score. And if your social credit score falls below a certain level, then you can't buy drinks from a vending machine. You can't play video games. You can't go on a train. You can't get out of your 15-minute city. All that's already in place in China.
Do you think that would be helpful or unhelpful?
It would be, I think it would bring in, and it has already in China, I think it'll bring in a totalitarian tyranny so 100% complete that it would make George Orwell's 1984 look like a picnic.
Leave your comments below and don't forget to subscribe.